The little white ones we brought in from another facility. They're about 2 years old now. As long as we put them into the pack as a puppy, they'll accept them with no trouble at all. That way we can keep our educational program going and also help out some others that were already born in captivity to make sure they get a good place to live out their lives. Now when it comes to that 4 weeks and we take them from the den, we spend that time raising them. We take them home. 11 years ago, I had all 17 puppies at my house. It was quite true. I never raised 17 pups at a time before. Becky, who spoke to you earlier, raised them with me. And wolf puppies have to be bottle fed every 4 hours. It takes 2 hours to bottle feed 17 pups. In 2 hours, you start all over again. The reason it takes so long is that wolf pups are very fussy. The mother's milk in a wolf is 101 degrees. When you're bottle feeding those pups, if that milk isn't close to 101, they won't drink it. So it's a battle to keep that milk at a temperature just like the mothers would do. So they'll drink all the milk. Second reason it takes such a long time, and it's not the most pleasant thing, and that is that wolf pups and canines, or dogs in general, they can't go to the bathroom by themselves when they're little puppies. The mothers have to lick their bottoms to stimulate them to go to the bathroom. So we have to do what we call poop them. Oh, I didn't lick them. I did not. But you have to pat the bottoms with a warm, wet towel every time you bottle feed them to get them to go. Or believe it or not, they can back up inside and maybe die from it. So it's a very long procedure, again, in eating solid foods and going to the bathroom by themselves before we can put them back in and the parents take over raising them. When we do first put them back in, what they'll do is lick and bite into the faces of the adults after they've eaten. They call it soliciting. They will solicit the adults to regurgitate or throw up food for them. And that's what they live off of for the next couple of weeks. Then eventually they learn how to chew on the deer meat that we feed them. Wolves are a carnivore or meat eater. They say they'll eat anything from a mouse to a moose. But their main diet is any kind of a grazing or grass-eating animal, and we feed them all deer meat here. I work with the state police and the local communities. They call us anytime there's a deer hit by a car. We'll pick those deer up. We work with some farmers here in North New Jersey that have permission to shoot the deer when they're destroying their crops. We'll take those deer. And we also end up buying a lot of meat. We feed close to 50,000 pounds of meat a year here. Quite a bit. I'll feed 2 different ways. When I'm feeding the meat that we have bought, it looks like hamburger. But it's deer meat that's been all ground up. We'll buy 50-pound frozen blocks, cut it into smaller pieces, and I'll throw each wolf in a frozen block of meat that's about 3 pounds. They all get fed about 3 pounds of meat a day. Now, some people think it's strange we feed it to them frozen. The reason I feed it frozen is, like I said earlier, whenever there's food around, the alphas will eat first, and they'll gobble down as much as they can. If there's not enough to go around, some of the lower-ranking members might not get anything to eat. But when we leave it frozen, they all run in and grab their piece. They run back in the woods and sit down. It takes them a couple of minutes to chew through it and eat it. Gives everybody a chance to run in and grab their own piece. So we know that they're all fed every day. Doesn't bother them that it's frozen. In the wild, if they were to find a moose that had died of starvation and was frozen in a snowbank, they wouldn't pass up that free meal. They seem to enjoy it on the hot summer days. It's kind of like a meat pop or a meat pistol. They'll cool them off a little bit. And unfortunately, in all the pens, we have a few that act like pigs and try to make a secret stash of those blocks of food. They'll grab a piece, run up and hide it behind a log, grab another one and try to hide it somewhere. But some little guys like Raven here, Raven's smart enough to know if they do that. When they come in for their second piece, they'll run up and steal the first one. Everybody still gets fed every day. The second way that we feed is when we do get a deer. The only thing we do to that deer is take the stomach and the intestines out because of bacteria and parasites. Other than that, I'll drag the whole deer in for them. These guys will tear it down and it'll be gone in less than a half an hour. And they'll eat the entire deer. They eat the bones, the hair, the hide. The entire deer is gone in less than a half an hour. Now, besides the antlers, I usually saw the antlers off the deer so no one gets jabbed by them when they're tearing it apart. Besides the antlers, there's only one other part of the deer they won't eat. For anybody who hasn't been here before, and you guess it's the one part they won't eat. You got to guess? Stomach we take out, remember? Something else. Go ahead, you got to guess. The brains, they love them. Yep. Eyeballs are their favorite. Guys, got to guess. The hooves, they crunch them right up. Go ahead, you got to guess. The ears, they'll eat the ears. Yep. Go ahead. The teeth. You got it. Good job, the teeth. You get a treat. Cheyenne, you can have it. There you go. This here's the only part of the deer they won't eat, the jawbone and the teeth. Some of the hardest bones in the body, they don't break them up. If you ever go in a pen, these guys, all they ever find are jawbones and teeth. The reason they can chew up and eat all those other bones in that deer is the amount of pressure they have in their jaw. On average, your dogs at home are going to have about 700 pounds of pressure in their jaw. A wolf has 1,700 pounds. They say it's enough to shatter the leg bone of a moose with one bite. One reason they don't make a good house pet. Even just playing, they can do some serious damage. The reason that food is gone in less than a half an hour is that wolves in the wild don't know when their next meal is coming. So programming in their head, eat as much as you can, because you don't know when you're going to get fed again. They have the ability to eat up to 30 pounds of food at a time. 30 pounds. Good example of that. Last year I had a class trip here and I told the kids they'd eat 30 pounds of food. A little boy raised his hand, said, "Excuse me, 30 pounds? That's 120 quarter pounders at McDonald's." I said, "You got a good math teacher." So imagine sitting down eating 120 quarter pounders in a half an hour. That's what a wolf can do. When wolves eat, they don't chew their food. They tear off pieces of meat and swallow it whole. That's where they get the term, wolf it down. They eat so much and so fast, their stomachs get swelled out. When we do feed them a deer, depending on the size of it, it's about every 2 to 3 days that we feed them. Because we need to give them time to digest all that food they just crammed down in the stomach. In the wild, if they were to hunt and take down an 800-pound moose, every one of those pack members can eat as much as they can, up to 30 pounds. Then they lay around and sleep for about a week. They do nothing but sleep and digest their food. Now, wolves will howl for a bunch of different